The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria, and they have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1994, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way around.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia narrates her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the web.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
Good evening and welcome to Undaunted Weekly Recap. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. As you know, Saturday marked the end of every county with the federal territory of Ambazonia, Faco County, drafting really big, a whooping total over $80,670. Although our county draft ended with Faco last weekend, there were still 2 last drafts assigned for the Department of Health and Social Services, HSS, and the Department of Affairs, but an important information that got to Undaunted at the start of this week from the Department of Finance and Resource Mobilization, the National Treasury said Award 22 is formally suspended till further notice. We'll be back with the recap of this week. The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 6 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, not age and not with Undaunted ABC Amber who's on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonized, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news, untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You would just click away, visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories.
Fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and you're welcome. You're welcome to this very important broadcast streaming live from ABC Amber Studios. It's exactly 44 minutes after 8 p.m. Amber time. We apologize for doing this late. I'm sure you saw our publicity and it was announced that we'll be having Witty Minstrel. Yes, we're still going to have him. He's actually boarding a flight now. So he will try to connect either on video or with an audio. I'm calling on all those who are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube to kindly share, and also to inform you that Barrister Fru John So and Barrister Tim Behesa are already seated and ready for us to enhance a discussion. I'll be starting this discussion right now with them. We'll talk for about 5-10 minutes to warm the ground before we get the news recap of today. When we get the news recap, we'll get some reports that have taken place this week so that the both of them can comment and we enhance our discussion. In between the line, as soon as we are able to connect with Witty Minstrel, the son of Bui, you guys already know him. As soon as we get him connected, we will intercept and listen to his opinion. Maybe he has some things to tell us, and I will not want to let the cat out of the bag. The horse is here, and let us hear from the horse's own mouth. So I'm calling on every Amazonian who's watching us right now to keep sharing and sharing, and we will start the discussion right after this break. Stay tuned.
Africa's best. We the people.
Good evening, sirs. Welcome to this very important program.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you
evening,
all for
buddy.
connecting and being punctual, always respecting and being faithful when we call. That's quite encouraging. How are you doing today, Barrister team?
Oh, well, just doing my best, hoping that I don't quench before I get to Boya.
Is that your wish, Barrister Fru?
I know I will live from day to day.
Yes. So
I will get to Boya somehow through the will of God.
it really doesn't matter. The truth about it is that we'll all get to Boya. And that's important. You can see from our caption, we are proud of who we are, and that is the never again generation. This will be the foundation of our discussion. It was the master calculation of our oppressors, the colonizers, to conceal our identity. We have lived in a country where we were made to feel very inferior. We were also made to think that we are not good enough to achieve anything. Our generation has not only denied, our generation is not only fighting back aggressively and vigorously, our generation is manifesting at the peak of it all. Perhaps you may want to start by putting on a perspective from what you think about that. Barrister Tim, please.
Well, I think and I believe that the never again generation has a lot of meaning. You see, in this struggle that we've done so far, we have the Republic which are opponent. And we've been this thing with them for the past 60 years or more. None of us sitting right now or doing all what we're doing took part in the 1961, whatever thing they agreed to do or not to do. We're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us saw what happened in 1972, but we just saw we're not really full participants. The generations of the Funchers, the Funchers, the Ahijos, the Indelis, the Juas, that generation is no longer there. Yet, the problem remains. If the Republic had any sense, and I hope they have, you would realize that this generation is not the generation that you take and put in your pocket. No. There are two examples for that. When the English-speaking people called them Southern Carolinians stood up in the early 1990s and said they wanted a university in Buea, they were beaten. They were locked up. They did not recant. They stood there until they gave up a university in Buea. Even though it has become a watered-down version, but they had it. When at the same time, this generation that most of us were already there, stood up and said wanted an examination board. We're not looking for a GC board. We wanted an examination board. We were tear gassed. We were beaten. We were locked up. Yet, they gave us something similar to what we wanted. They call it GCA board. And if they have anything to look at history, I was in Boya in the early 1990s when Mbele Mbappe, who was the Minister of Education at the time, may so rest in peace, came to install the first board chair of the GCA board. And what he said, there's something that he said there, short sentence. I too was there. In other words, he too was there when this dream became true. So yeah, they should have learned, if they have not, that this is not the generation that you pocket and go away. If they stand for something, they will get it. And we've learned that they gave us a university, it became a watered down version of a university. They gave us the GCA board, it became a watered down version of the examination board. But we have it, and we'll improve on them. So going forward, I will tell this generation, some who are already getting old and they want to be born, and the ones that are still young, that if you stand for something, stand for it. Resistance is not a sign of weakness. Resistance is a sign of determination, and resistance will take you to your final goal. Thank you.
Indeed, when you stand for something, don't give up. Barrister Fru, a lot of Ambazonians call you the no nonsense pa, because at a time when you had some lawyers absconding and some selling in or selling out, at a time when you had your colleagues were afraid, some were betraying the cause because not because they don't believe in it, but because they thought accepting it will mean their life. You cared for nothing. I'd like to know from you, what was in the back of your mind? You were sitting in the, you're moving, you're shuttling between Lagos, Nigeria, Douala, Yaoundé, in the lion's den, and you were not wavering with your tongue. You were categoric. Every single occasion you had, you spoke your mind. Amazonians fell in love with you because you will not mince words. What was your secret? Perhaps the youths listening to us today would like to learn something from that.
Well, Paddy, thank you for that question. I must tell you that I was not the only, but I made it a point to make sure that nothing stopped me. I am part of this never again generation, like Pastor T, all of us living now. The attitude of the La Republic government towards us made me to develop a thick skin. That is, I was no longer afraid of BMM, right? I was no longer afraid of detention. I was no longer afraid of what kind of prosecution will come. And I went headlong. And I found a way, as most of us who are fighting for our liberation are doing, I found a way and got myself into the networks in Douala. And I decided that this is it for me to let the world know what we are going through. And I spoke without reservation. I remember a day in the military tribunal when one of the military judges told me, as I was on the floor, that we are not at war. When the war was raging in Ambazonia, he said he was not at war. I said, I told him, repeat that so that the world can hear you. I turned around and I saw the diplomats that were observing that trial. I saw the crowd and I said, this man just told the world that we are not at war. My dear people, Ambazonia is at war with La République du Cameroon. They declared war on us, and we are fighting that war. We will fight to the logical end. I said this in open court. And he opened the door, and I entered. If he didn't make that statement, I probably would not have had the opportunity to say what I said that day. Paddy, you were still in Cameroon then, I'm sure you heard. Listen, I decided not to be afraid of anybody. I went headlong. I was shuttling from one end of West Africa, that's to Nigeria, Abuja, back to Yaoundé. because of fear for my life, I was no longer taking the road to Yaoundé. I told somebody in the plane who was sitting near me, an Anglophone, whatever you call an Anglophone or Ambazonian at the time. I said, listen, if they want Barrister Fru, they will have to kill more than 100 of us who are in this plane in order to stop me. And Paddy, I'm not saying that I was the only. We had a lot of lawyers that were fighting. At that time, look at Barrister Bobga. You would not believe that Barrister Bobga left Bamenda and walked on foot to Mafe through the bushes in order to escape persecution. He didn't have the same build up like me, or the same structure like me, or the same thinking like me, the same fearless mind like me, but he had given his own. He did his own participation in Bamenda. And all of us are aware of those who were willing to fight. And you see, I took my cue from a late gentleman, Abed Mukong. Abed Mukong went through all what some people have gone through, but he made his point and he stood by his point till he died. Abed Mukong, you cannot believe how many times he went to jail. Why should a little barrister who had just come back from the United States and is hanging in Douala, pretending to make money, be afraid of his own life, when important people, important freedom fighters like Abed Mukong had given up their life to die? I know of one other comrade of ours, Mr. Feko, Vincent Feko. These are people that encourage me to give up, to be fearless. Vincent Feko would have been making money as a custom inspector in Douala Port, but he decided to fight the regime, to fight for our freedom. They started talking about our liberation when nobody was talking about it. You will not believe that Feko and Abed Mukong found themselves in a group of accused people with Yondo Black and were tried for subversion in the military tribunal in Yaoundé. That didn't bother Mr. Feko. They were never jailed anyway, but they went through all the detention procedures and so on, fearless. I also take somebody like Mpongalamfo, who for several reasons he was going in and out of prison, but somewhere along the line he lost steam of the fight, found himself in Nigeria, became part of the freedom fighters in Nigeria, and was arrested with Seseko. And when he got to prison, he gave up, and you know the rest. I'm not going to talk evil of him.
Definitely, that's not the side of the story.
Yes, yes.
That's definitely not the angle of our discussion for today.
No,
But
it's
then
not the
I'm
angle of
glad.
discussion. Listen now, I am just bringing it up to tie to what I am saying. That
Yeah, I agree with you.
freedom fighting is not the preserve of anybody, of one person. All of us, including Mr. Barrister Mbesa, who is sitting there, we have given our lives to this fight. And we can run the nation when the younger people are with us now fighting. The never again generation. One other caption that I saw, Paddy, I saw that clip and I got disappointed somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Because this Banso guy made a very good clip. We are proud of who we are. And I saw Bamileke people dancing in it and doing this. And of course, that watered down the theme that I thought was a revolutionary theme. We are proud of who we are. Because the Bamileke people are not fighting their regime. We are the ones. So when I saw that clip, I was a little taken aback. But that notwithstanding, a lot of young people of this generation are giving it their all. And we should be encouraged. We should be encouraged to make sure that even if Barrister Tim and myself are dying before getting to Boya, we know that young people like Paddy King and others are still there, and to take the flame, continuously take the flame. I'm just giving that as an example.
No, that's
I'm not.
fine.
I'm not.
We will be here after the news recap. I'm receiving confirmation that he's actually boarding in a few minutes. He'll be connecting. He'll be here after the news recap. I may not want to ask him the question why Kamini was a part of it, because in my perspective, I think you can actually be an Amazonian and you collaborate with a Nigerian, with a Mexican, with a French or whoever. The idea,
But not with the
the
but not with the
power,
enemy.
power of that his song, the power of his song actually is the originality, and that's what I think I want us to showcase, and that's the message I've been trying to communicate to Amazonians for about a week now, for them to be proud of themselves, their originality. Fortunately, I got this young man, Witty. He's a young friend, and he thought that um, in spite of the fact that he is still in the Cameroons, he doesn't really mind coming on TV to actually say who he is. He is a son from Bui, and maybe he will take some questions. We will not have him long. Maybe by next week we can have him longer, and he might take questions from the public. He has indicated he would love to do so from the public. But this is the point, Barrister Team. We are in a day that our generation has been estimated to the youthful population of our nation is estimated to, I think, 65, between 65 and 70. And then you would have those who have been leading us prior to this time are mostly the old. We've seen that in the Yaoundé Kaaba. But today we see you people all advanced in age. Your bones are weak. Your eyes are deepening and your vision is darkened. But you are unwaveringly fighting. Anybody looking at you, I do not need to ask you if you're fighting for yourself or us. Anybody looking at you know that you're fighting for love, you're fighting for your progenies, you're fighting for us. What's your motivation, Barrister T?
I'll tell my motivation, but before I get there, Mr. So I said a number of things which I want to start from there.
No
You see,
problem.
we're old. Yes, there's not about that. If somebody mistakenly thinks that we are going to get positions in the new Ambazonian government, you're deceiving yourself. If we're able to get there and even drink a glass of water, that's more than enough. But this is the point that gives me strength, I personally. You see, Barrister Sanso has mentioned Abel Mukong and all his sufferings. Many of us don't know that in 1961, during the so-called Fumban Conference, Abel Mukong was there. Abel Mukong was there. He was a member of the OK party, which was a satellite party of the UPC. What was Abel Mukong doing there? Abel Mukong was one of those greatest people. Let us join our brothers. Let us do this. He didn't even want to hear any conditions. I have the minutes of what happened in Fumban. That was Abel Mukong. And then next to it, many of us talk about Dinka. We don't seem to know that Dinka, when he set up chambers in Victoria, he was the first Secretary General of the CNU branch of Victoria. Where did he end up? Where are they? The Funchas, the Munas, the Juas, they all entered this thing in good faith. They thought they were dealing with people they could trust. They did not trust them. 1995, Foncha, Muna, they led a delegation back to the UN to tell them that this thing had failed. They were already old like me, or older. And so Abel Mukong ended up in jail because he threw the towel into nonsense. He realized that it was a fraud. Dinka threw the thing into the water and he fled because he realized that it was not worth the pains. So what motivates me to argue for this case so much? It's not for me. It's for my children, and I have them. It's for the younger generation. A copy from Abel Mukong, who after supporting this thing with all his life, he jumped out and they were looking for him to kill him. They jailed him. They did everything to him. And so that is the motivation. All of us make mistakes. We trust somebody and the man fails you. The next thing is divorce. If the man or the woman is refusing divorce, he wants something else. He wants to kill you. So it's better for you to die fighting for your own right, to die showing your children that you are there for them and your grandchildren who are already there for us, than to succumb to that nonsense. If the Republic could learn anything from these guys, from all these politicians behind, take Muna, that was the greatest traitor we all know for our cause. But he went back to the UK in 1995 to denounce the very thing that he has supported all his life to get positions. And so that tells us that we learn, we know our future. The future is bright. What does it mean for us sitting here? Take the Munas and the Abel Mukong and the rest. We have them today. We have the black legs still in our group. Are black legs new? No, they'll always be there. And sometimes they even get profit out of what we fight for. A good example, I mentioned the GCE board, call it the examination board. When they were fighting for this thing, they were teachers, senior teachers. One of them was the principal of GTT Siboya, Dr. Eben. They were the one reporting teachers for going on strike because they wanted an examination board, causing them to be locked up. When it was created finally, that was the guy who took the first benefit of it. He housed it in his own house in St. Peter in my Cartier. If there was any money to be made, he made it first. The hero Joyce, of course, he realized the goodness in what we were doing. So, if we have black legs, if we have people who are dragging their feet behind, that should not be anything to discourage you. I believe if people who understand what is going on see us, see me, see so arguing on these things passionately, getting ready to die for it, they should know that that's something worth dying for. Otherwise, I should be taking my retirement and having a good cup of tea, drinking something, going to my grandchildren and enjoying myself. We are able at our age to say black is black, white is white. No matter whether it is coming from a coup plotter, from an opponent, from whatever thing, we'll tell you the truth as it is. We'll tell you the truth as it is. That's what encourages us. And most of us know that. I sit here, for example, talking. I've done all what I could. I've never been able to buy a ballpoint from the proceeds of this struggle. I've never asked for a stamp to mail something to someone else. If I don't have anyone else, I ask for my children, and I do that. So that is the reason, that's the motivation behind us. The cause is worth dying for. And if you don't die for the right cause, what else would you die for? If Jesus had been so frightened with death, they would not have crucified him. But if they did not crucify him, as we hear, the world would never have been saved. So I better die in battle and save the rest of the generation behind me than to survive a hero and punish the ones behind me. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. Barrister Fro, the way you're nodding, it would appear you want to add something to that.
No, I just want to say that we are no longer afraid of death. At the time I was doing all those things in Douala, If you ask me whether I think I can die, I'll tell you that what is the difference? When I'm living, I'm dying. But we are fighting for our children and our children who are not yet born. So that our country we should leave our country behind before we go. And we will, God willing, we will leave Ambazonia back. It will be a nation without, even if we die before saying the real thing. Paddy, I sent to you this morning, and my reply to one, what do they call him again?
You want to talk about that now, or you would prefer?
No. I just want to let you know that if you listen to my reply to that man,
yeah,
you will know to the extent to which some of us are willing to go.
I listened to it.
Because I literally jumped on him because he's propagating the same story that our Gino man, what do you call him again? Chris Anu is propagating. We take federation today, tomorrow we live to fight again. We of this generation will not accept that. We want our independence and sovereignty, and we will not take anything short of that. We cannot lose 40,000 people and sacrifice them, and tomorrow you see us hanging around La Republic, say we are doing a federation, confederation, whatever. That's why everything that Barrister Tim was saying, I was nodding. Because we have had and down traitors who have repented. They've come back to the fold. Who knows whether these traitors who are running around now will come back? But on that in a revolution, a traitor remains a traitor. Whether he repents at what time, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But we're all Ambazonians, and we intend to deliver our country, to our people, all our people, including those black legs who are running around trying to destroy the revolution. We are fighting. We will deliver to everybody. And you know, I don't want to say much. I just want you the young people to go back and read what happened to Eritrea, what is happening in Eritrea today. That's what it will be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister T. So when some people do listen to the Eritrea stuff, to them it's almost like some feel like it's a menace. But then I think we'll get deep into that. Right after this musical break, we will be getting Witty Minstrel, the son of Bowie, from he'll be joining us via telephone. Stay tuned.
We proud of who we are. We proud of who we are. Me a wandang bagalmo, and I wandang jangman jongo, my brother. I find the bus pull up jabang, we go still chop on my sister.
When they see me coming, la wagon, la boys, money for me, follow me. Turula, musica, kilo, wikisa, Ishana, Cherere, the one side, can you hear the
lendo, for vine consansi. Ven wa we are watching go, for vine consansi. Ven siganse cheng lendo, for vine consansi. Ven wa we are watching go, for vine consansi. Keke bumake. Yeah, I'll sing some. If you know say you be proud of your beginning, make you the shine your light. Just follow me, oh, follow me, oh, follow me, shine your light. Le bambo le wa, bibinyo tenyan tentitia, bibinyo tenyan tentitia. Come any pan this one again. I be proud, by me licky girl, yeah.
Yes, fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen, that was Witty Minstrel, a son of who, amongst the crowd of many, he is unapologetic with the opinion of staying true to his originality, true to his culture, true to his own people. And today, it's unfortunate we cannot have Witty on video for some reasons beyond his control, but he is very connected right now. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Asakaba.
Yes. Mosa.
Okay, you're connected live on ABC Amber TV. We just finished listening a portion of this masterpiece a few days ago. You came from nowhere with this song, with this track, and you hit the mark in the two Cameroons put together. That song alone has led you to winning a lot of awards. I would like to know, in fact, we would like to know, our audience, people watching you, even back at home right now. I know you're somewhere in the diaspora, hoping to go back home next week. Where are you coming from with this? You're from Bui, no doubt. Where did you start? How did you start? When did you start? What is your driving force? Please just talk to us. The audience can hear you.
Okay. Like you have already said, my name is Witty Minstrel, the boy from Song. And I have been doing music for a very long time, but I was not that good with finances, so I was not putting out more music outside. So it happens that because normally when I think recording, and since I've been putting out music, I kept recording, because putting out music means you have to spend much money. Music is not actually cheap, so it happened. So since I keep on recording, I actually go with the flow of the time. So it happens that I decided to change the brand of music that I was doing, because I am actually good at bringing something new. So I decided that, okay, since I want to change the brand of music that I was doing, let me do something new and let me be creative. So I decided to go back home. I took jam music. Everybody, I don't know if anybody's from Bamenda here would know what jam music is. So I went back home and brought jam music. I said, okay, this is because normally jam music actually is very beautiful music. If you have been in Bamenda or anywhere where there is jam music, you will know how beautiful it is and how nobody can stand while jam music is playing, because everybody will feel you must shake your head. So I chose it, and I decided that, okay, no, I need to blend it and make it music that can go everywhere. Because if I keep it jam, it is going to remain with us, because that is our music.
So in essence, it was it's a melange of folklore and modern day music.
Yeah. So I had to put in hip hop into it, so it can go out of us. It should go out of the Northwest. So I made it. I put in some hip hop and I brought out the crowd. And since it was something new too, the concept behind the crowd was actually to empower my people. that was the concept, to empower my people.
I like the word. The concept was to empower your people, encourage them, inspire them. A lot of people from southern Cameroons today calling themselves Amazonia could easily identify with this music of yours. They felt proud of it. It was a music that sold across Africa. You got a lot of awards. But then this is the question I want to ask you. Real quickly, I want you to tell us the courage that you mounted. Njang music is popular in the Ngemba land, in the grass field. It's not popular anywhere else. What was your driving force? Having that courage and having that title, because the title is revolutionary. We're proud of who we are. In a setup where we were made to understand that Makossa Bikutsi singing in French is the only way you can make it as an artist. But you've broken that record with your first hit track. What was your driving force?
Just the concept is what drove me, you know. Just the fact that I want to empower my people was the first thing that triggered the inspiration. And if you want to empower your people, how do you empower your people? You make them feel proud of who they are. You know, that was just, it's just simple, you know. It's just simple.
Empowering your people and making them feel proud of who they are. Thank you, Witty, for this. This is something. When baby Tato Carlos was killed, you're among the rare artists in the Cameroons. You live in Boya, if I'm not mistaken. You're among the rare artists who spoke out against it, and you did so rhythmically. You did so with rhythms, with a melody. Before we find out what made you to do that song, let's listen to some snippets of it. Stay tuned.
I love it. Yeah. Them go finish kill all this picking them for this country. Where is the future? One very book in my kiro. One very book in my kiro. One very book in my kiro. Yo. One very book in my kiro. One very book in my kiro. One very book in my kiro. Yeah. The one pass power. Kenyoke moke kuji draki wuna. Lady yende mame fan fola wuna wani ye. Yado shikure wana tare. Dropa sire chalvum. It could be me, it could be you.
Yes, we're back. Witty, I want to tell you thank you for this song. This was encouraging. I was going through this song on YouTube. I actually saw those who felt touched by the gruesome killings, the untimely death of a baby that was just going to school, really appreciating you for taking out the pains. And you did this song within a few days, used your own resources, and made sure that the video was out as a way of consoling the family and consoling your own people that are being killed with brutality. I want to ask you this question. It's a very pertinent one. And looking back at home, you are a son from Bui. We are aware of what is happening there. Lots of people, lives are being wasted hourly as we speak. What will you have to say?
Oh, yeah. Well, we all know what is happening in our land. And the only thing I can say now is, peace actually is so instrumental. That is what we need now. And the only thing I can do is to preach the word through my music. That is the only thing I can do. And like you heard from the song you just played now, I have in my album. I think my album is actually talking, because in my music I actually communicate with people. I actually tell stories, and my album actually is all about the struggle and what is happening to us now in Cameroon. So that's the only thing I can do. I can only talk to people through music and grieve with them and all that. But that's all I can do.
Yes, I think that is laudable. In 2018, when Daphne won the award, she's a friend too, actually posted about her on my wall, and I said, I thanked her for doing one thing. When she took the award for Canada, she actually dedicated it for the IDPs and the orphans, for the victims of the war. And I was using that to talk to all of the guys in Boya, particularly that are making the waves in the Cameroon. When you look at the civil rights movement in America, it was pushed unwaveringly via music. One of these days we're going to have time to talk. When you have time for us to sit and examine some things, one of these days, I think we'll get deep into that. I want to ask you the last question. You are very unapologetic when it comes to expressing yourselves in modern day rhymes and rhythms, but in making sure that there is a fusion of Njam that represents you. There's no statement to me bigger than the fact that we are a people that supposedly have been reduced to almost nothing, and then they thought they could have destroyed our cultures. The young men like you fronting a movement of enhancing and resurfacing and speaking loud in your music. You have a song you title Gracia. If I want to understand, that means thank you or something. What is the push of that song? I know just about less than 24 hours ago you released the video of that song. What is it all about?
First I want to go back to the Canada you talked about. I think last year I was the only Anglophone that won the Canada.
Congratulations.
On my speech, if you can watch it, you will see what I said. I talked about our struggle, our cry, and I have never forgotten about that, because it is actually taking us off. We are dying. And so, talking about Gracia is a song I'm actually giving praise to God. I'm actually saying that thank you, Jesus, thank you, Father, for what you have done for me. When I'm saying me, it doesn't mean it is me. You know, music, when you write music, you're writing to yourself and you're making it go on to the people. Like, I want that anybody that listens to the music, it feels like, okay, yeah, I am actually saying this to myself too. You know, so that is so whatsoever you have, whatsoever that has happened to you, whatsoever
sing out. It's like singing out your pain, singing out your sufferings. Just sing and rejoice.
Yeah, that is it. So thank you, Gracia. Thank you, Lord, for what you have done to me. I am still alive now. Thank you, and all that. So
I think when we finally get to Boya, this will be one of the rhythms. Now, thank you for joining us. One of these days, we're going to have Witty Minstrel again. He will be with us this time on a video call, and we will have a lengthier discussion. Thank you for joining me, my brother. We end with this song, Gracia. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Exclusives.
I love it. People go always throw stones on your path. My brother, no need to be sad. What it matter now, what you do with them? Build walls on the bridge, you want build. Eba, either build walls for protect your fine body, or build bridge, cross river, go re-enter that side. Also make money, come back where you carry back money. Them say misery, they find company. Hey, you gon' be so. Say poverty, they find place for sleep. Hey, we don't want poor. Say bullet, they find target. Nah, who want that?
That barrister team and barrister Fro, you're welcome back. Looking at your own son um, fighting the war musically, what would you have to say? Just say real quickly. Let's get into the newsroom and have a recap for the week.
Yes, can I start?
Please.
Yes, the music was good. The videos are excellent. The guy has done an excellent job. But in that first video, where the Kamini, Bamileke, this is who we are. I wanted to ask him what motivated him to put that part of the video.
To
Was
bring
it,
comedy into it.
Yes, is it money or culture or because if it's a revolutionary like me, I would not adulterate it
You will not
into
allow
something.
comedy to be a part of the song.
Yes,
I can feel you, sir.
but then I wanted to ask him what was his motivation for doing that, because the music is so good. It's a blend of jang and banso rhythms, and to bring in
High
Kamini,
life.
the Bamiliki girl, this is who we are, and all that. I don't understand. I don't understand how that came about. What was his motivation for that? That's why you saw me trying to put my hand up to ask him that question, but you didn't quite see me. That is all. That is the comment I have to say. In fact, the guy is
Okay, I'm
good,
sorry,
very,
I didn't notice. Yeah, Barrister,
very
Barrister
good.
team, please.
Well, what I got from it is no matter whether you call Bamileko, whatever name you put it there, it's all entertainment. Music is entertainment. He's not a politician like you and me, calculating every comma, every full stop, every dot. Just entertaining people. But what I got
No,
from there, it was not just the song. What attracted me most is the attire in which you were dancing, performing. What is there which attracts me? I would recall that that attire has today been adopted by the Republic as its national attire when they go play football abroad. They will never acknowledge I came from somewhere else. So we have talents which must be improved upon. We have talents we can rely on. We have something to export, even to our nearest neighbor, the Republic of Cameroon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
just last comment.
Please go right
Music,
ahead.
music may be is an entertainment, but it conveys a message. People listen to the lyrics and the meaning of the lyrics, and it's very that clip was meant for the Cameroon consumption in general, but not only for Ambazonia, because there was no reason to have brought in the Cameroon element into that clip, because the clip was already so good that that part was not necessary.
I kind of get you, and there's something I got from you guys, the team, is the fact that the courage to be fully represented in a song, which is something for decades we have not really benefited from. We will be getting into the newsroom right now to get a recap of the week, and that will set down a foundation for the next action. Just stay tuned.
recap of the week, the 5 priests, a nun, and 2 lay faithfuls that were abducted by armed bandits from the St. Mary's Catholic Parish in Chang in Mamfe that we have been reporting about in the last couple of months have been freed. In the video that preceded that of them being freed, these unfortunate victims of a group of armed bandits were showering praises to their abductors for freedom without any ransom taken for their liberation and for the favorable condition given to them while in captivity. Here is a video of that. Okay, while we have the video, we had a previous video though, having them congratulate the people who abducted them, saying they kept them well. The previous video of them saying otherwise in captivity have got a lot of views up. Adding to that, the video of their arrival showed different from their gratitude as they light devastated.
Thank the freedom fight of Ambazonia for releasing us without any ransom fee and for their hospitality. Thank you very much. It's easy. If you look at us, you'll see our faces very dismal, very unhappy. It is quite difficult, and we are only begging, my Lord, that you do everything possible to get us out of here. It is a matter of do or die. So, you see, for example, I've been very, very sick, and I'm here. My brothers too are not feeling fine at all. So please kindly, my Lord, help get us out of here. Do whatever it takes to listen to these boys and do what they ask you. Thank you.
As you can see, that was the previous video of them complaining about their condition in the hands of their abductor. And then the first one that played was the video of them thanking the abductors for treating them well. That raised some eyebrows. Well, the released Catholic were brought into Mamfe from Cross River State of Nigeria by the colonial military of La Republique du Cameroon on the later hours on October 23rd, 2022. The presence of the unfortunate kidnapped priests and faithfuls that are now free put the bishop in an emotional high gear with tears flowing from his eyes uncontrollably in a recent video. After a period of emotional battles within, the bishop alone Fondong a Bangalo sent words of appreciation to those who negotiated for the release. There is a video.
Don't cry, Jim. You have tried. Yes. You have tried. You have tried.
I'm Mr. Bishop from church, from Catholic Church. The only officials of thank God plenty, I will celebrate Mass. So, Tuesday, for 4 o'clock for Cathedral, I invite all men for camp for Cathedral St. Joseph, or maybe Mass for thank God for these brothers and sisters who don't come back for we. We know for long for Tuesday, 4 o'clock, all men go gather for Cathedral. If we don't give Mass for thank we brothers at that time, they would don't rest more, be the rest fine so that the big power will attend that Mass. So they will be with we and we go pray that they will go sing for Cathedral for thank God. So now I go bless you now, and I go back and then they go stay with me. Not all here. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Now, looking at all of this video, you realize that one of them at least was a compromised video, a video that was out of probably compulsion. Well, that wraps the story of the kidnaps at the Nat faithfuls of Nchang, St. Mary's Catholic Church. And moving on with the other story treated this week, workers of Neo Cameroon, a colonial company responsible for the supply and maintenance of electricity, have caused the burning of all wiring and the destruction of 12 meters at the Evidence Building, City Cameroon roundabout in Bamenda, chief town of Mezan County. The fire, however, being managed with unconventional means and the use of the few fire extinguishers available, consumed all the 12 power meters, electrifying all the apartments. There is a video of which this electricity cord.
Evidence building on fire. Ma make a send na send.
Moving on with the stories this week, fifth columnist. In every struggle, war, there will always be fifth columnists. It's important to know them and put them where they belong. If not, they will destroy the struggle. In our context here with Undaunted, the coup plotters, the ADF, Kondegi Mafia Group, etc. are the fifth columnists. In World War II, there were citizens of France, the Netherlands, and Norway who were sympathetic to the Nazi movement and were considered to be a German fifth column. In the United States, and shameful internment of Japanese Americans in World War II was justified by the fear there would be fifth columnists. We brought the story to you so you would know what to do in order to not subconsciously become a fifth columnist yourself. Gabelisi gave us a report expatiating more on this.
Peaceful negotiated settlement in 2023, an exclusive by Dr. Pay. Jets in the Gambia and Indonesia. What to know? Tainted cough syrups pulled from the shelves after they were dozens of deaths. The recent deaths of dozens of children from acute kidney problems in the Gambia and Indonesia have caused alarm worldwide. They were possibly caused by harmful substances in medicinal syrups. Abiedu. Message to Mr. Ayuk Tabe, Mrs. Marianta Domir, and Mr. Chris Anu. You are all products of the divide and conquer policy of our Republic de Cameroon, consciously or unconsciously. If you care for the people of Ambazonia and want the international community to recognize Ambazonia in 2023, you should do the following. 1. Apologize to Ambazonians for the false information propagated by President Sako that led to the creation of 3 breakaway dysfunctional groups from the interim government. 2. If your pride or ego is too big to do so, simply stop deceiving Ambazonians. There is only one legit government, and the leader is Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, with the mandate of the majority of Ambazonians, and you know that. 3. Return to the interim government and support your LG Istro County, not just with words, but financially as well. 4. If you are not able to do 1 to 3 of the above, take a sabbatical from the struggle. It's an honorable thing to do. Message to Mr. Bo Hubbard and Mr. Akwanga. Just support the winning team that is taking us to Boya, the interim government. If you do so, the international community will not use the excuse that we are divided, and La Republique du Cameroon will not claim that they do not know whom to speak with. Support your LGA Istro County. When we get to Boya, you can create your political parties. Amazonia shall stable democracy that welcomes pluralism and diversity. Message for Mr. Chowayaba. You are causing a lot of pain on our already embattled people and also tarnishing the reputation of a legitimate struggle by organizing kidnapping for ransom. Stop this terrorist act immediately. Take a sabbatical from the struggle because you really don't have anything to offer but pain to our people. Your actions in the home front through the ADF Gov Disunity Unity Palace Warriors testifies that you are in bed with La Republique de Cameroon. That has led to the demise of many of our brave children. Message for ARFs and any pro-independence fighters. Stay focused on one enemy, La Republique de Cameroon. Don't kill your fellow ARF. Don't trust ADF or these unity warriors who are working with La Republique de Cameroon and Ayabacho. If you want to see Boya soon, Continue to work with your LGA, County, and listen to the CIC, President Sako. He has never failed you. Like he said in his recent address at a successful FACO draft, do not be deceived by the $100 scholars who want you to become their slaves and ask you to make videos. Remember, soldiers without a government are considered terrorists. Ambazonians all over the world, there is only one legit interim government, and it is the people's IG. The president is Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako. It is called the People's Interim Government because it is an institution with broad-based structures with different tiers through arms of government with many volunteers, in contrast to the one-man show syndrome of many groups. Executive arm, grassroots policy of bottom-up as seen in the LGA county structure and various departments and councils, legislative arm, IHR, judiciary, ethics commission. Let us all rally behind this great vision of the interim government and make 2023 the year to end the suffering of our people and the year to celebrate together in Boya. Long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, short live the struggle. We're told Dr. Patience Abiodun did this write-up in commemoration of the Ngarbu massacre. Today, October 24th, 2022. Gab Ellison reporting for Undaunted, ABC Amba News.
Now, this week, we also brought you a report of a total of 48 fake villages that have been identified so far in Fako County, as you will be seeing on screen, with Boya local government area topping the chart with 25 fake villages, Victoria, one local government area next with 15 fake villages, and Tico with 8 fake villages, while the procedure of correcting act motivated by greed of the former colonial FACO administrator, some of these chiefs have been called up for questioning. Talking on the media organ, in-house slave Dorothy Lumunga Juma opines that it really is in Moya court area of Boya, is an existing village, but the chief is not from FACO. We have the case of Wakaka. Wakaka is in Bunjongo court area, but the chief is from Likombe village. This is what she said. With this cleansing, all those concerned chiefs invested to be installed village head have gone. And also we brought to you a reflection titled Time is a Lethal Weapon by a bonafide Amazonia Bridget Muyang Fielding that exposes the Canadian La Republique du Cameroon contractors as businessmen and women who have no homeland at heart. She gave about 14 points, but we'll look at only a few. One, she says the struggle for homeland independence restoration is not for the swift, but for the enduring. To people who never admit their errors and mistakes are to be dreaded and avoided. And she gave up to 14 points, but we stop at this. She continued to say it is only a matter of time before the misguided, the gullible, self-seeking, treacherous, power mongers are exposed to their utter disgrace and shame. This is from Bridget Muyayudin, summarily saying, time is to be thanked for being the revealer. All right, due to time, that's where we'll end the recap for this week. But moving on into the news story, it is being reported every day about the ordeals of searchers of greener pastures in foreign lands and even on the high sea. Gone are those days of little or no information on human interest happenings because of under or no reporting. With the media revolution, thanks to advancement in technology, the world is now a global village, and so nothing is hidden under the sun. With all this information of torture, rape, slave trade, manslaughter, transforming people to sex toys, and drowning on broadcast media, print and even social media, Amazonians and Cameroonese still on a daily basis embark on the greener pasture search journey. You see in them determination and willingness to die in an unknown haven than to remain in their countries and die in the hands of those they thought were their sisters, brothers, friends, mothers, and fathers, but have instead proven to be political and administrative monsters, devil incarnate in the clothing of leaders. Frustrated and disappointed by the Paul Biya-led regime, the young, elderly, and even the old are willing to buy anything from sellers of illusion just for a chance to leave the country without a second thought. These Amazonians and Cameroonese fear their next second, minute, hour, or day in Amazonia, La Republic du Cameroon, more than the darkness on their way to the unknown. This is an ocular proof that the Yaoundé CPDM junta have failed woefully and sanity needs to be brought in, yes, of course, while separation will free Amazonians from such a regime. Cameroonese opts for a total flushing of the regime to free La Republic du Cameroon. How can a handful of people in the name of leaders transform motherland into hell? As reported by Mimi Mefo Info, at least 200 Amazonians and Cameroonese chased out of the Equatorial Guinea have gone missing in the Atlantic Ocean. The incident was reported Tuesday, October 25th, 2022. They were reportedly bundled and forced into an inflatable boat with no destination. A viral video obtained by Mimi Mefo Info shows a boat in the middle of the ocean heavily loaded with Amazonians and Cameroonese destined for nowhere and the verge of capsizing. Now, those on board are heard crying for help as the boat dances seemingly with no captain. It is not known what becomes of them thereafter, as majority of those on board are unreachable, according to family members and friends. There are Amazonians and Cameroonese chased out of Equatorial Guinea by the Equatorial Guineans. In the video, the inflatable boat has taken them right into the sea. The video making rounds have been sent by the Amazonians and Cameroonese saying that they don't know where they are. As genesis of the issue, Monday, October 17th, 2022, the Colonial La Republic du Cameroon ambassador to Equatorial signed a release inviting all La Republic du Cameroon and Amazonian nationals who have registered at these offices to voluntarily return and wish to remain on the Equatorial Guinean territory to come and deposit at the embassy photocopy of their passports and their old resident cards no later than Wednesday, 19th October 2020, that just passed. And according to Colonial Ambassador Desire Jean-Claude Owono Mengue, these documents will be transmitted to the Equatorial Guinea Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, which urgently requests them for the regularization of their situation. And Thursday, October 20th, 2022, Mimi Mefo Info gathered that several Amazonians and Cameroonese were arrested. Latest updates now indicates that those arrested are being bundled, forced out of the country through the Atlantic Ocean with no destination. It is not the first time Amazonians and Cameroonians are being humiliated and chased out of the neighboring countries. It is not the first. In La Republic du Cameroon, refugees in 2017 who escaped hardship back home were reported being sold into slavery in Libya. According to reports by AFP, survival auctions in Libya have described a total hell that they wouldn't wish on their worst enemy as global outrage grows over footage showing refugees being sold off in the war-torn country. And the northern country has long been a major transit hub for refugees trying to reach Europe. It is total hell in Libya, said Maxime Ndong, one of 350 refugees flown back to La Republic du Cameroon in 2017. He was just one of those who returned home with stories similar to those aired by U.S. TV network CNN, which showed an apparent slave auction where men were presented African buyers as potential farmhands and sold off for as little as $400, that is 340 euros. And the Cameroonese were flown back to Yaoundé in 2017 aboard a plane chartered by the International Organization for Immigration, IOM, as part of a project to return and reintegrate some 850 people, source AFP. Thomson Reuters Foundation, found in Yaoundé, is a hope to some of the returnees. They gave hope to Christelle Timdi, one of the Cameroonese youth, a victim of torture in Tripoli, Libya, and narrator saying, returning home to Cameroon from Libya 2 months before them. 250 were flown back home. Christelle Timdi, gaunt, weak, and clutching her baby girl born just days after she had bought her freedom from a Tripoli detention center, she burst into tears at the memory of what she had been through. On top of beatings, the trauma of witnessing rapes, and her friends sold off as slaves, her most haunting recollection was seeing her boyfriend Douglas falling into the dark waters of the Mediterranean Sea during an attempted crossing to Europe. But that night, in January 2018, it was his voice on the line. He told the Thomson Reuters Foundation by text after Douglas called to say he had survived. He was kidnapped, sold, and thank God, soon he'll be in Cameroon. This is a narration by the Thomson Reuters Foundation. Timdi, 33, and Douglas, all Cameroonese, are among thousands of African migrants who, after failing to reach Europe in search of a better life, have been flown from North Africa by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, with funding from the European Union. One needs, again, no further proof to justify the fact that the CPDM regime and its ruler, Paul Biya, is a complete failure and have plunged two countries, Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon, into chaos, perpetual suffering, and hardship. It's about time the in-house slave prime minister and his entire government resigned, and immediately too. Moving on, a new recent story. Bus of Unso Boys has been burnt down and they expressed their loss. A bus of the Unso Boys agency caught fire at the agency and completely. What could have been the cause of the fire? Was there no means put in place to quench this fire timely? Well, at about 7 p.m. local time, onlookers around the chemist roundabout towards the Bamenda food market were astonished, seeing Unso Boys agency bus going up in flames. The bus caught fire on spot at the agency. Unconventional measures put in place to quench the fire to no avail. People expected to see the arrival of the firefighting unit in Bamenda, rescuing the bus from the ravaging flames, but they never showed up. Undaunted visited the agency only to discover that the lack of standardized fire disposition was met. The lone fire extinguisher on the agency wall was just window dressing. Undaunted, an onlooker, has said, this is not normal, but a manifestation of dark magic. Undaunted equally talked with a mechanic, and he said, was this a fire outbreak in the vehicle? Is as a result of electrical breakdown. Such a breakdown can happen when the car is on motion or not. As long as the battery of the vehicle is connected, it could catch fire. This is what the mechanic had to say. And that's about the bus that caught fire of the Unso Boys. Now, moving on with another news story, recent happenings. Nelson Achiba, the Ambazonian activist, dropped something on social media that caught our attention. It's an article he titled, Ambazonians Beware of Sellouts. Fellow Ambazonians, do not be deceived by some damage control messages out there from Sama Uncle B, Mike Fusi, trying to behave as if their Christopher Anus didn't go to Canada, attend by Zoom, or at least gave his endorsement. As it stands, only the interim government put out a statement against the Canadian meeting. That document was signed by President Sako and another by the Secretary of Communications, Dr. Martin Mungwa. Those who never put out any written document against it all endorsed the talks. These are people who have been in backdoor talks with La République du Cameroon, Akuro Akwanga, Chris Anu, Nick Ngwanyam, Kometa Ayaba, confirmed those backdoors meeting in their outings. This explains why they all celebrated La République du Cameroon's exit from Swiss talks. Since President Sako refused to engage in these backdoor talks, Ayuk Tabe and Pa Ngala Mfo instructed Kometa to replace President Sako as soon as possible. That's the reason we had a series of failed coups against President Sako, beginning from the AP, SCLC, Team Act, 2 years unconstitutional mandate, failed impeachment without evidences, attempts to create ground zero leadership, Chris Suffer letter that President Sako should call for elections and resign, hand power to Ayuk Tabe people, and later confirmed in his show following a call from Sebastian, etc. Kometa personally told me that we must collaborate with Ayuk. Meanwhile, Chris Anu personally told me we can talk of a federation, then stock materials and fight after 20 years. Now, Professor Anyangwe said, dissolve the government or lose all. Meanwhile, Tumasang said he advised Ayuk to 1972 federation, while Mark Barreta said there was nothing like a government, no independence. Meanwhile, in a video, Ayaba said the notion of Ambazonia is an abstract, independence is abstract. These are the people Chris Anu is now embracing. Today, all of them have settled for a special status within one Cameroon. Back to Canada, some attended physically, while others did by Zoom or backdoor endorsement and by sending representatives. They do not want to officially put out the names of those who host the Canada conference to present what they have been working backdoor, just like CDN Part 2. Goal is peace and return to normalcy within one Cameroon. Their names are not out because if Ambazonians know, they shall reject them all. They want to keep it secret so they can continue to manipulate the people. Several audios now from Chris Suffer camp where they were before the conference. Now, this paragraph tells you all those who endorse the Canadian conference. They preach unity and collaboration even with those they earlier rejected or accused of working for La République du Cameroon. Chris works with Ayaba, whom he, Anu, together with the white lady Sese, said Ayaba were working with La République du Cameroon and Elise Smith. They rejoice La République du Cameroon escaped from the Swiss talks. They do not want any Ambazonian government, a condition given to them by La République du Cameroon. Now, this explains why Anu said they shouldn't call him president, that his government is just like any other group. He wants the creation of a revolutionary council, and both him and Ayaba are requesting for Ayuk and Pa Umfo to be released, not the other prisoners. Note, since the sellouts voted Anu as their president, he has never put out any signed document carrying the title of government because La République du Cameroon doesn't want a government. By requesting only Pa Umfo and Ayuk must be released and not others, it tells you Pa Umfo and Ayuk are part of the deal. Remember, it was Pa Umfo who gave Yarima to Ayuk, and Umfo tells what the Swiss talks could give us recognition, but they want a Canadian-style special status and financial rewards for themselves from La République du Cameroon. Also, those who endorse Canadian conference are supporters of unity warriors to kill other fighters who are not fighting La République du Cameroon but are actively fighting President Sako, kidnapping Ambazonians for ransoms so as to push the population to revolt against the struggle. Ask Anu that if he castigated and even pronounced Ayaba was La République du Cameroon, Ayuk was compromised and today he wants to join them. Is that not proof that he too has been compromised and has joined them to work for La République du Cameroon? By stealing money from the interim government, it shows that they do not want fighters to have resources. Anu is not straight and is deceiving the naive. He talks with Paul Tassong, planned and only him knows who he gave the $135,000 to, and Hurricane Prison Chakara, man of last words, secret deals with La République du Cameroon. Ayaba asked Ambazonians to pray for him because he was part of them. all their fights today is against the interim government, against President Sako. The deal, there will be Sama Thomas, Mike Fusi shall one day be regretting, like J. Carr Nanchop of TV, and Akaba Clovis Nazo, Nzale, etc., who now do while Marianta and Abongwa continue fact. But you all have failed, while La Republic du Cameroon shall use and dump you. Ambazonians shall be free, and this is what Nelson Uchiba has to say, that they all have failed, and it is true. While La Republic du Cameroon shall use and dump them, Ambazonia will continue on the path to be free. Now, if you listen to this closely, you realize the true Amazonia have been warning and urging the audience against the same vices in the past few days or weeks. You've heard it in this same light from Dr. Patience Abiedu, and now Uchiba Nelson, and I'm sure there is more like this, and Undaunted will do the good of bringing them for your enlightenment. Until our breaking report, we have reports reaching Undaunted from the Boyi security team. Unity Palace warriors of Shade Tata Won Scandi welcome freedom fighters escaping from Kikaikom and kills them in cold blood. Yesterday, the Unity Palace warriors propaganda machine of Shade Tata Won Scandi presented a video of two warriors who had reportedly escaped from Kikaikom and were heading back to Ngoketunja. The two said to be mission commanders, Satan Blue T-shirt, and a fellow soldier. Both fighters had escaped from the torture of No Pity and joined the Boyi warriors under the reign of FM Isobu, rest in peace, 2020. After their arrest and interrogation by the palace warriors, where they were forced under duress to say bad things about Maj, Major General Tokendu, and the main Boyi warriors barracks, Kikaikom, Mission Commander Satan was later killed in cold blood yesterday around 7 p.m. Amber time, and he's dumped around the Bangoran Mosque. As of now, his remains have been recovered and buried by his friends and family. Many brave fighters from Boyi, the likes of late General A2, General Wata no Wata, FM Isubu, have been killed because Shea Tata was Scandi, a known thief who poses as a humanitarian agent in Nigeria, have been and brainwashing some fighters to fight for him and directing them to steal and confiscate people's lands and property instead of fighting to protect their country and the nation of Amazonia. Now, above all warnings from Major General Token due to the chief manipulator Shea Tata was Kandi, challenging him to come home and be a man rather than hide in Nigeria and instigate fighters to be killed. Short live the struggle, long live Amazonia. This is courtesy of Boyi security team. Here are the videos of and pictures of this report.
Then I fear the chair. Where plenty people then they complain say well once up picking then 3 days, but they take leader the gun of a stranger. Then after that I suffer for sick for like 2 months where I did for us where no treatment, no day. With the go hospital they told me I say plenty be the way they get for pay. Then I make up my mind say I'll work with Unity Warriors. Then time where I come on now for night. Then Unity Warriors they catch me. Then they take say I begin as some bad intention. They work up at night. You were a day for the level so.
We get them for there. We be na who for there.
We been a mission commander.
We be one under who?
Under Major General Tokando.
Okay. How we want come for this? So we call we say the pass.
I know we call no man say at the pass.
Okay, the cash for who say when I don't pass, we say before I can't for there.
The cash we for ourselves. We don't come out right for prepare.
When I want come so we be call pa. So when they come.
No, we not be call for because we not get your number.
Okay. Okay, damn say when I see and say the feed do how we gonna do so.
when I feel the war, we be there for the word be threatened pa. Them say you confess apologize for ye. For ye could check with you for you or how you say. If don't catch you now, how many times when I can run of prison?
One time.
What if because you go to na who say? Go to it.
They don't talk something for me.
Okay, the video carry you go run.
The video call me and cash and go. I say you can't see. You can't. You don't talk no nothing.
Okay, when I feel advise other people them where they do it.
So that way they do for the me and the man define the way myself, you know, the worker for my own side. Now why that I find my way. People do for them, my brother will find your way, you find your way.
Okay, they don't carry you now, so they don't kill you now.
No, they never kill you.
Okay. It doesn't worry the talk so because they say unity warriors the one military now, so on the talk.
I've been a mission commander for Kaikon.
As you can see, under duress, you could be forced to say anything. Now, another breaking news reaching Undaunted is the colonial administrators and their occupational have transformed the Bafut airport in Mezam County into a concentration camp. It would appear that La Republic du Cameroon is not only establishing military camps in Amazonia, but they are now using infrastructure to abuse them. Our intelligence has it with certain that the camp harbors a lot of Amazonian citizens, which La Republic du Cameroon terrorist forces kidnapped. This is what La Republic du Cameroon terrorist forces are doing. Each time they suffer deadly casualties from the brave Amazonian restoration forces, they just move into that camp and remove people from there and murder without remorse. History has it that Hitler treated the Jews in a like manner, and it is shocking to see how the world is watching Via do the exact same thing to Amazonians without saying anything. We are informed that last week 4 young and able men were brutally murdered and their lifeless bodies were thrown along the Barefoot Womb stretch of road. 2 days ago, again, 7 bodies have been thrown along that stretch of road. The same road, this same thing happened again. It is indeed unfortunate. We will bring more details of this report in our subsequent newscast. But that notwithstanding, this never again generation of Amazonia happens to be unwavering and undaunted. Like it is said, you cannot hide light because it will always shine. Let's watch a light from Bui that is shining all around the world. Over to you, Patty.
Exclusives. I love it.
This was quite consoling after getting the terrible report. And Barrister Fu, Barrister Team, thank you for being patient. We've had the briefings of this week. It was rushed so that we can continue this discussion. Let us start from the tail end. We just had 2 reports there. One coming from the so-called Unity Warriors still arresting and killing our people. You've seen the images. And now we have from our intelligence report that the Bafut airport, that was an international airport, that was transformed by the colonial administration into a military camp. They are now using it as a concentration camp. We're told that young men and women disappear in the villages and they are kept there. When the Amazonian Restoration Forces deal with these terrorists invading our territory, they go back, slaughter one, and dump the corpse. That was what Hitler was doing, and that's what La République du Cameroon is doing in our nation. It's really unfortunate. Let's start from there, please. Barrister Timpe, maybe you want to take the mic.
Well, I will. I'll take the mic. You see, sometimes, in my own opinion, we'll come here sometimes and waste time. Program like early this week, I talked about Bismarck Airport being transformed into a military camp. We have talked about Tico Airport, barefoot now, today. The bottom line is that Yaoundé has never wished to give us airports. Never. So, whether they kill our boys there or somewhere else, it's immaterial. The fact is that they are killing our boys. If they didn't kill them in barefoot, and they took them to Manfred or they took them to Santa somewhere in the bush and killed, it's killing. They never wished for us to have anything called airports. And maybe some people don't know. Way back in 1980, before Ahijo left power, and even continued after he left, the regime commissioned a study for an airport to be built, only one airport to be built from Cameroon. That airport was supposed to be built in Mokonje, Laduma, and Kumba. I happened to have worked with a company they hired from Great Britain called Peter Frankel and Partners, which did the studies. They studied for an airport in Kumba and an airport in Garwa. The reports are all there. They have not built any one. They did not intend to give us airports. So I don't think that is a thing that we waste our time here. They have transformed our airports into whatever thing they wanted. I saw a week or so ago, there was somebody in Tico pretending that they are coming to build Tico Airport. That's a joke. There will never be any airport. What used to exist as called Tico Airport in the 60s is gone. They've partitioned into plots and built houses there. So anything of an airport is useless. When we get free, we shall build our airports wherever we want and however we want them. Again, if they kill our boys in the airport or anywhere, it's immaterial. Killing is killing. What I would prefer to address in this lengthy news are just a few items that are important. What visited most of those things, what Dr. Patience Diego wrote, we discussed it earlier. We discussed Manfred priest adoption. So we don't need to waste our time there. The other thing I will add on Manfred is this. When you see those videos and audios, there are two things you have to take home there. Some of them are rare, and some of them are meant for public consumption. When you see those women crying, you see the bishop wiping tears from his own eye, that's rare, that's a practical thing, that's a fact. They wept when this book came back, they felt bad. But when you see another audio coming there, the adopted priest say, well, you see, thank them for doing it. Why are you thanking somebody who adopted you? Adoption was never meant to be a comfortable place for you to be thanking them. Probably you're thanking them for not killing you, yes, but they have no right to adopt you, so you can never thank them for that. So that is meant for public consumption. Again, when they go down and say, well, they free us without
that's why we bring you here for this, for you to enlighten.
They free us without ransom. Suppose they paid ransom, just $500, 500,000. You expect them to make an audience and say, well, we'll pay ransom? They will never do that. That's for public consumption. So those are not things that you waste your time on them. And so read those things, read through into those things. The rare thing. And when the bishop comes out to say, well, we'll make a mass, that's rare. But to thank somebody who adopted you is stupid. To say that, well, we're dying, that's a fact. To say we don't pay any ransom is a joke.
It makes it seem, it adds more credence to those who believe that it was staged. And even the priests they conspire to perform this movie.
Now, I don't know what happened. The truth is, take those victims of the adoption. Nobody ever wished to be adopted. Nobody. You and me, we don't want to be adopted. And when you're adopted, it's just like the Sisiku and the rest who are adopted. They're in jail. Do the wish of the adopters. If you're in the hands of anybody calling himself Amber who was adopted into a forest, you will record what he wants you to record. You're not a free man. Whether you're a bishop, you're a priest, you're a farmer, you're a whoever, you're not a free man. The same thing applies, I've said, to those people in Kondengi. They are adopted people. They are prisoners. They cannot speak their mind. They cannot speak against their adopters. So that is what should concern us. Then let me take the second point that I gathered from this thing. The Fako chiefs, what they call it, fake villages. Government does not create villages. Villages exist by virtue of the population. So if somebody makes an order creating a village, that is bullshit. But why are they doing that? You find that most of those villages, fake or whatever you call them, they are found in Tico, they are found in Buea, and perhaps Victoria. Why? Because there's land to be shared. There's land to be shared when they extract this land from the CDC. At stake has been the CDC lands. I remember late Litumbe, he fought all his life for what he called the Bakwere land claims, which were genuine. They were founded even in the court. But what happened? Government defeated the whole idea of the Bakwere land claims through Mosonge, a Bakwere man, made prime minister. Through Dr. Njoma, who's complaining somebody is made, there's a village here, somebody is not a chief from somewhere else. That's all joke, that's all theater. The main reason for which they create those things is that they will take land from the CDC tomorrow, apportion them to this guy who call themselves chiefs of the village, and then take it back in the name of a DO, a land surveyor, or whatever thing. That's the purpose behind it. They don't need to hide. They are hiding in the open air. That's all nonsense. That is not news to me. It is fraud. People like Njoma
don't you think we have to report that so that we can expose?
No, I'm not saying we should not report. No, must report. I'm not saying that reporting is bad. No, we need to know. And if explanation is needed, like I'm explaining here, let our people understand why these villages are created, why these people, and then whoever they name the chief there will be a Moja, who will do the will of Yawande. And so that item goes on. I don't know how much more time we'll have, but if we have more time, I would prefer to address this issue that we just discussed earlier, the issue of this audio from Mr. Akombi in London. Where
we're going to get into that. We're getting to that. That's where we'll
okay, we'll get to then I can hold on until then. That's fine. That's okay.
I want
that's what I
get to, but
that's my analysis for the news.
Mr. Pro, I want to say thank you. And Amazonians, we need to specially thank these two. I would say these are, when you are young, for those of us who used to go to the village, we don't spend any holidays without going to the village. One of the things we learned from our parents is when you go and elders are talking, you listen very closely. And it's always interesting to go during the evening when you guys are either roasting yams or cocoa or cassava after farm, and you sit around the fireside, you're listening to different stories. There's a way it is said, now elders they talk, say, what the old man sits on in a plane to see, even if you climb on the mountain, you cannot see. So I appreciate the both of you for dedicating the time to educate our generation and enlighten it from the wealth of your wisdom. Barrister Fru,
now,
maybe
Mr.
you want
Mr.
to...
Give me 1 second. Let me finish what... Mr. Ansel, give me a second. Let me finish what I forgot to say. So there was an item on the news there where you and is talking to Macfusi about whatever thing they did in Canada.
Yes.
That is all bullshit. We don't have time for that rubbish. Whatever Macfusi said is not material. If Canada was so important, why are the attendees hiding? why are they taking shelter?
Yeah.
Because some of this,
they are not proud to even say that they participated. Yes. Some of them are sending messages out.
Let me make this last point. I've followed this somewhere else, and I hope Mbakuru is following this debate. If he's not following, someone should take it to him. Mbakuru has been making all the recordings to show how important Canada was. Maybe it was, but Mbakuru said he didn't go there. If there was a Canada and Mbakuru is a great guy in this struggle, and he was not invited, and he didn't go there, then who made him the spokesman over what happened there? Who made him the spokesman? If he was not there, he has said he was not there and I believe him, then why become a spokesman of what he did not know? Did somebody tell him that I've said this? That's the part I wanted to remark here. He cannot be a spokesman of something he did not participate. How did he know the inside going, that what happened, this was good, this was bad? If he was not there, how did he know it? So why are they wasting our time? If Mafusi likes it, then themselves they will like it. Tell us what happened. But if it's so secret, according to them, that nobody can know what happened, then it is not about this liberation struggle. Because the liberation struggle is about you, me, and anybody else. It's not about some secret people going to a room and drinking beer and eating soya and this stuff. Thank you, sir. You can continue your input.
Barrister Afro, please.
Yes, I want to come back to the airport in my village.
Yeah.
The Bamenda Airport.
Yes.
When that airport was first opened, when it was first built and opened, it was serving as a commercial airport. It was taken over by the B during this our fight, and they are now using it as a concentration camp. Just like it was in the before World War II. The Nazis were using concentration camp to eliminate the Jews. What La Republic is doing should warrant our reaction as a government and our forces as the Ambazonian Restoration Forces. Bamenda Airport should be declared a very important target. That thing must be brought down so that our people can be free. They go to the villages, capture young men, come and keep them there, detain them there in large numbers. And when they go for operations and lose about 4 or 5 people, they remove as many as possible, slaughter them, and throw them on the rivers or on the streets. We cannot allow that to continue. I hope that our military officials are following this up, because that place should be a legitimate target for destruction right now. We don't need an airport from La Republic to be coming in and doing what they are doing against us. So we have to transform it into a veritable battleground to stop them from doing what they are doing. And secondly, I wanted to also address this thing about the land, Ambazonian lands, and how the regime or the junta is doing in the southern zone, is particularly in Boyatico, Victoria, and creating thousands and thousands of villages targeting CDC land. The same thing is happening in Bamenda Station. In Bamenda Station today, if you find of all the landowners in Bamenda Station, I don't think that they are up to 10% Ambazonians. Most of them, all of them, almost all of them, are government officials from La Republique du Cameroon. It's no longer feasible to buy land on Bamenda Station anywhere. All of Mendankwe has been taken. And listen, the only solution will come when we have an independence and we have a Land Tenures Act, a good Land Tenures Act that we will appropriate and expropriate all those lands. Anybody who acquired land illegally will have to explain to the Lands Commission how they got it. Otherwise, it is taken by government. The government has the power of eminent domain. And all those lands will be recovered for the interest of our people. For example, all those CDC lands, that's CDC property. And anybody who knows about the history of CDC should know that those lands were native Bakwere lands that the plantation people took.
And therefore not be colonized.
It should not be colonized by La Republique agents. If you go to Victoria today, most of the important lands are owned by them. They float hotels all over the place. Wait, the time is coming. That's all I have to say. And Fadi, I will take my leave.
Okay, thank you very much for really being patient. I didn't expect we are going to have you. I'll go back. Maybe you want to talk a little bit on the Eyong Akumbe. You actually responded to
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Okay,
You
yes.
want to
I'll
talk
talk
on that
about
before
that.
you leave. I have not,
Yes.
it is a 25 minutes audio. I didn't have the chance to listen to it completely. But then I've listened to different reactions. We just had Omali Cham. Ambazonians are responding on.
You had my own reaction.
I heard yours. Perhaps that's where you want to start.
Well,
Let Barrister Flo take it. Barrister Tim, I'll come with you so that you and I can conclude the program. Barrister Tim will take that
No, well,
away.
you reacted, so I think I should react first so I get my own point before he leaves.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think I should get what my own
Yeah,
perspective
he's going to get
is
it.
about
And then I'll
before
come
he
back to
leaves.
you.
Now,
Okay.
I listened to Akumbe's thing. You see, he makes a number of mistakes. The first mistake is he thinks that if the Republic is not coming to the negotiating table, it is because we are saying that one independence, full, one separation. No, that's not why they're not coming to the table. We have been wanting independence forever. Maybe we remember that in 1999, in December 1999, December 31st, there our independence was declared again by no others but than Justice Alobede. He declared independence. So the Republic knows. What did they do? They arrested him, took him to Yaoundé, locked him up for a number of years, and released him. It is not because they don't know it now. The whole AAC, all those things were the struggles that they knew. We prepared a document and took it to Yaoundé and gave them. We were asking for a federation. What did they do? They banned the the SCNC. They banned also. They know those things. The problem that we have with what Akumbe wrote, and many of us, we have been talking about negotiations. To the best of my knowledge, this IG has not changed its position. Its position has been defined so simple. Go to the negotiation table and address the root causes of the problem. That's where we have stood all the time. If the Republic is not coming there, it is because they don't want to address the root causes of a problem. When they look at the root causes, which they know very, very well, something is haunting them. They don't behave like the village woman. In my place, what is saying in the country, I don't know how to put it, that a pregnant woman on delivery does not have to wear a pants. She has nothing to hide. She tears that thing and throw away because there's nothing to hide again. The child must come out or you die with the child if you keep on your panties. So these people, they know the root causes of the problem. They will not address them. That's why they are escaping. Not because you are asking for independence. Not because Akumbi wants us to take federation. No. Wanting federation, till today, the Republic has not changed its policy of form of state. It's non-negotiable.
Pastor
Yes.
Bethea, before I come back to you, just say this real quickly so that Pastor Flo can talk. Are you saying that because Amazonians believe that he is possibly black like a sellout, or he has been sent to infiltrate our environment, first of all, by claiming certain things? Do you think that is just his understanding that is fair?
That's why I was coming to learn. Akumbi, like many others, have different views about what is going to happen. But it doesn't change the rare principle to the conference table without preconditions. It is easier to call a meeting. It is difficult for you to determine the outcome. When we get there, I've said this before on this forum, the idea of a federation will come on the negotiation table. It will come there, whether you like it or not. What we need to be doing is to prepare ourselves how we fight it back.
So what we need is the negotiation table, because first of all, the other camp cannot impose what we are bringing on the table, and we cannot
No,
also.
let them go to the table, because like any other negotiation, like any other dispute, you tell your story. I tell my story. That's why we want a negotiation with a mediator, with international observers. At the end of my story, I'll say, what do you want? I say, this is what I want for this. If you are the opponent and you have something to say, say. But those things will all come up. Unitary state will come up. Regionalization will come up. for a confederation, I've seen some of our brothers here, very educated ones, running programs on confederation, on referendum. Those things will all come up there, but we are not bound to accept them. So it is
a very
simple
quick
that
one. A very quick one. I'm not cutting you short, but I want to give a chance for Barrister Flo. The quick one now is this: what will it take for us to get to the table and to make sure that we get on the table like pipers and not weaklings?
Well, I've said this before. The Republic is not going to choose the partners to go to the table. No. We want to negotiate anything. There's something to call the mediator or the facilitator. It is that facilitator who identifies the party in the dispute, not the opponent. As I've said before, we cannot tell the Republic, if you are coming to the table, don't bring a Cabral Lobby. Like
I'm actually talking about the weight we carry on the table that will make sure that we are not being dictated.
When they invite us, I've said this again before. I've said this again before. This IG will be there.
Barrister Fru, I'm coming back to Barrister Fru.
Our IG will be there.
Now,
and if you and me are in this IG, we're going to go what we want.
We're missing the point. Let me go. We're missing the point.
Yeah, go ahead, Barrister.
As I responded to that man this morning, we are fighting a liberation war, and we have an objective. We cannot take any other position on going on that table. There will be those other things that Barrister Tim is mentioning will be brought by the opponent. You understand? But we have one position. We are going to that table to discuss the terms of separation of leaving La Republique finally, and to stop this war, the root causes of the war, first of all, because La Republique has left that table, listen, and whether there is a table or not, we are going to find a way to have our nation. We don't even need that table. We are making as if the table is a life and death situation for us. La Republique wants to come to the table, let them come. If they don't want to come to the table, we are not going to talk federation, confederation, special status, or centralization, or whatever with La Republique at the corner like they are doing now, like the so-called groups are doing with La Republique in Canada and other places. We have a position. We are going to the table without precondition, but we have a position. And the position is our independence and sovereignty. And we will stick on that or nothing.
By implication, you are saying that in our ranks, we should not accommodate or tolerate discussions that take us out of our focus. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That's
so
what
now,
I'm saying.
Follow up to that question. The follow-up to that question is, when you have people with diverse opinions like that, how do you handle it? Barrister Flo, I'm still with you. Now, a follow-up to my question is, when you have people, because you cannot know the heart of person, you even have those who are saying something and doing something else. When you have people that are honest, either to portray their ignorance or to portray their perspective based on their decision, because the decision is made based on information and your technology. How do we manage such situations to make sure that we do not necessarily continue creating frictions among ourselves, but try to put everybody in the wagon thinking the same and matching?
Listen, Paddy.
Yes.
We are not creating fictions in the interim government. We have not changed a position, like Pastor Tim said. We have not changed our position.
Yeah.
And the reason why you have this interim government, the fighting and so on, is because of our freedom. Anything short of that is no longer a war of liberation. It's no longer a liberation war. Look at what we have sacrificed 40,000 people. Is that what we will go to the table with? Some of us talking about federation, some of us talking about decentralization. We have a fixed position, and we're not going to compromise on that.
Barrister Flo, you are a father. I'm asking you a straightforward question. What do we do then? because situations like this were in a liberal society where people think from different directions. You may always have this recall. What do you
Let me
think we
answer
should
that.
do
Let me answer
to
that
resolve
question.
that?
Let me answer that
it.
question.
Let me answer
Yeah,
it before I go.
yeah, go ahead.
We are nobody is stopping anybody from taking a position. That any other position is asking for unity to continue to stay with La République du Cameroun. Any other position is stay with them or get away. And as a father, I will not stop you from jumping into the sea if you prefer to jump into the sea. But when we get there and it doesn't work, we will walk out, just like La Republic has walked out. Let me tell you something. You have to fight to get it. This type of questions have been coming up in other revolutions, but they have the major stakeholders have one position, and that position is for us is our sovereignty and our independence. Anything short of that is continuous living with La République du Cameroun. Did we need to sacrifice 40,000 people to do that? No. And we are saying this will not change its position from the beginning. And anybody who has a different position, you will come in the delegation of La République du Cameroun and present that position on the table. But from the delegation that the interim government is sending in, there should be nobody there talking about any other
interim government delegation must carry people in one mind, nothing short.
No,
Barrister,
please let me make this point before Mr. Sol leaves.
Yes.
Now, why are we dwelling on Mr. Akumbi? Akumbi is not.
We're using him like a case study.
Let me finish. Akumbi is not an official in the IG. If this statement was made by Dr. Mungwa, who is a spokesperson, it will have a different impact. If it was made by you,
let me tell you that Akumbi is influential. He is making those
decisions on
our platform.
Let me finish.
And everybody
let me finish.
So we have to respond.
Now, everybody, look, you have said something which is very good. People are entitled to their opinion. We are in a free Ambazonia. The personal opinion that you hold or that I hold is not the position of the IG. The IG has not changed anything. It's like, in fact, look at Yaoundé. Even in Yaoundé, there are activists there, they have the Ngonos who are very much against the regime in Yaoundé. But is that the position of Yaoundé?
Barrister Mbese, I'm not cutting you short, but this is what I want to bring so that we're getting the direction rightly. This is a situation that bruises a lot of Ambazonians. It's like opening wounds that are already getting healed. Some get so angry and so aggressive because the Ambazonians feel they have been betrayed in many different counts. Now, situations like that are also unavoidable. We do not expect to have perfect people, perfect ideas as we move on. When we have people like that, what is needed to accommodate them and to make sure that their thought does not corrupt good character? Barrister Mbese.
That is
now we cannot limit their thoughts. What we need to do, and I've been saying this forever.
That's what I want to know. What do you think?
Yeah, right now that you and me are sitting here and talking, I'm not sure that we'll know. I'm not sure that we'll know those who will be in the delegation if there was a conference tomorrow. But what I made a mistake to put somebody with those sentiments, with those feelings in our delegation. No, he will not be there. Are we going to put the prime minister because I'm Anglophone? No. Are we going to put Agombala because he was leader of the consultation? No. He lacks federation. Let him join the other camp. So this is just discussion. Again, the IG is an organized structure. They are not going to go down the street picking everybody to be in their delegation for a negotiation. Never. So instead of going around attacking the left and right, because they are all there, there are thousands of federalists, there are thousands of confederalists, and so on and so forth. Let them express their opinion. Again, I've said this IG has not changed its position. Going to the conference table without preconditions, but we know what we want. We cannot prevent me or you or anybody from saying what he or she thinks. I've always said, and I think I'm right. People have been saying all those things. I talked to Munzu for a while. People are frustrated. They thought this thing was coming the next day. If you ask the Munzu County Federal, they say the only reason they give is that, look, it is so difficult. People are dying. That's their feeling. But the IG, as structured as we are, and we are very, very structured, let them say what they want. Let them hold their conferences. Munzu has been holding meetings. Abakuru has been holding meetings. Anu has been holding meetings. Fine, we cannot prevent them. But we know that the IG is not a group that will be ignored when they are going for negotiation. We will put our team, if it's me or they, we know what we want.
Mesa, you cannot ignore the fact that the scripture says it. I'm happy you're a Christian. It says that bad company corrupts good character.
Exactly.
Now, in diplomacy, you always want to look for a middle ground that is affordable and that can be accommodated as well. This is a situation. He's not the first. He might not be the last. It keeps coming. How do we accommodate them in our milieu? First of all, by helping them to understand that is a poor calculation. That is something that's where we need to conclude today's discussion.
By responding,
this is how we accommodate them. I think this is how we accommodate them. I've said earlier.
Let me go.
I've said earlier where he went wrong. His false thinking. He reasoned wrongly. I pointed that out. Because he believed that people is not coming because we are asking for this. No, that's not why they are not coming. They need this education. So put your jump into those conclusions. For them to know that it is not because we are asking for independence or that we have declared as independent that people did not go to Switzerland.
Adi, can I go?
I'll give you examples how we
did it in 1995. Barrister say something so that I'll come back to Barrister team. Go ahead.
What I want us to understand is the message that man was trying to pass. The message was, let's take federation now, because he used a scenario of 100 francs. Somebody's owing you 1,000 francs. If he gives 100, you take, and then begin to wait and
that particular statement is one of the statements I hate in my life, especially if somebody's paying you.
That is the message. That is the message that man was trying to pass, and that message ties exactly with Chris Anu's view. That let's take federation now, and in 20 years we can get independence.
Barrister Pro, last one before you go. Don't you think that people can be genuinely misled by that Chris Arnold's? That you can really have somebody trying to propose Chris Arnold's opinion, but that kind of person is genuinely not a sellout. Don't you believe
that? Is why. Yes, I believe that, Daddy. But that is why we had to respond each time you get such a message.
Okay.
By responding, we enlighten people. People who listen to the audios, they will know exactly what is happening. Let nobody deceive, send those things and they circulate all over, and the interim government is just quiet, as if quietness is acquiescence. You don't just sit quiet. He has sent out a team.
He's perfectly right, but this is the problem.
Let me finish now, but Barrister. The theme is take what you have now and hold on to it. Just like Chris Anu, take their federation as of 1961. In fact, Macombe was very clear. Now, 1961 federation will start from there and do this. And that message is very dangerous to our people. It's very dangerous.
I agree with you 100% there.
You must respond and educate. Thank you very much, Paddy.
I agree with you. I don't differ with you there. This is the problem. We did not start hearing federation from Anu. Anu in this struggle is not even stronger than Munzu. We have not started hearing from Akumbi. But today, Anu, who claims to be a president, legitimately put there by Kometa and his own group, they claim to be legitimate. He's walking away even from that nonsense he has been talking. You cannot hear him say that anymore. But the important thing is, who is Akumbe? He's a follower of Anu, maybe. He's a follower of Munzu, maybe. He's a follower of Gombala, maybe. But he's following A, B, or C. change the fundamental stand as IG. No, we are still where we are. It only helps us to understand their thinking and to say if we needed 5 people to be in the delegation, they will never be part of that delegation. Anu may lead his own delegation with his federalist, Munzu with his. But this IG is not going to send a delegation with federalists, with anything short of people who want independence. That's the fact. Again, we cannot prevent them from voicing out whatever nonsense they want to vomit. That's their view. Again, does it bind us? No, not even by an inch. Munzu himself refused to come to different meetings and say, well, they are trying to chase him out. They will kill him if they saw him there. Because his federation stand is so unpopular even to himself. That's why he hired Eli Smith, resigned from the Federalist Conference, and hired Eli Smith because he wanted to hide. He resigned. He put out a video saying, "Hi, I'm resigning because they want to kill me."
Okay, but this is something we've not satisfactorily responded, and that's the last note for tonight. I'm asking you for the last time, and very succinctly, how do you think Amazonian community, the diasporic community in particular, and the homeland community as well, how do you think our community should handle people like that at this time?
I think our community back home, they are more intelligent than what you think they are. I'm from the BLM. Now they are not up to 10 the BLM or 20 even here in this thing. But go there, the people in the BLM who live in ground zero, who live in the home front, they understand this thing more than you and me. They know what is independence. They know what they've gone through in the past 50 years. They don't need to go to school to learn that thing. A good example, do you think that this ghost town that has been going on every Monday, you think they are doing it because you, Paddy, have told them not to send their children to school? No. They don't send their children to school, but they know there are few people there, black legs. What they attack as you withdraw your children from school.
How these people, how do we accommodate them? Like, do we just castigate them? If yes, why? If no, how do we accommodate them?
No,
to
I've
make sure
said
that
it
we
many
can
times
all
before. We don't need to castigate them all the time. We need, in fact, to be emphasizing on our own position.
Yeah.
Not chasing the winds or whoever disagrees with us. No. Let us keep our position. At every moment, we take the opportunity to remind people this is what we stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Let the flyers fly around and say what they want, but let us be consistent with what we stand for. And I think people understand us. That's why when we say come and donate, come and draft money to fight this war for independence, they come in thousands. They come in thousands. That's the rightful message. Everybody in Ground Zero, I talked to thousands of them. They know who is the real fighter. They know what we stand for. At the end of the day, that is where the final line will be drawn. It will not be drawn by you and me in the United States or in Japan or in China. It is on the home front knows. Even among the English-speaking ministers in Yaoundé, they know what we stand for. They know that we are gaining grounds. Should we waste time fighting with Mbakoro? Waste time fighting with Eli Smith? No. Everybody knows what they are. In case we doubt that people have not understood us, we can only illustrate our position. Why we are doing it, how it is the best position. And leave about in the name of free thinkers, in the name of freedom of speech. We're not going to silence them, never. Because we're not able to silence them. They will still make their audios and put out. They will still make their videos and put out. What will you do? You will take their phone and break? This time that we have wasted here 10 minutes talking about them, if we had put out something there or to discuss the importance of our position, if we had put out, be discussing, for example, genocide, where Mr. Fosse is right, thousands of people have died. Why have these people all died? It's because we want independence. It would have had more meaning than for our company in London because it puts an audio that has no meaning to us. That's my view. I mean,
you see,
wrong, but that's my view.
Barrister team, as we conclude, This is something I like to say all the time is I'm very critical when it comes to people who perhaps might be double-minded or double-sided. You know, scripture holds it or says or states categorically that a double-minded person is unstable in all his ways. Now, sometimes when I listen to a person, I'm trying to know, is it that the person is unstable because the person is double-minded or the person is genuinely ignorant? You are you have been talking with the ethics commission. I'm very concerned about how we can mobilize our strengths the best way possible. If you identify somebody who is genuinely ignorant with his perspective, in very few sentences, that's the last for tonight. What would you advise that our
This is,
community does?
I think,
And what should
Paddy,
government
when I
do?
come on, Paddy, whenever I come here, listen to me carefully. I choose my words very carefully.
Yes.
Right today, when we start here, I've not left this position. I said something earlier when we started. I said they will all be black legs, one. And sometimes black legs will take even the benefit. I said that. And I gave examples. This society that we are going to create, call it Ambazonia, they will be the mourners. They will always be black legs. I gave the example of the GCE board.
Yeah.
I gave the example of the University of Boya. The Jews were not fighting, they came and took benefit. But is that where we should concentrate? No. They will always be there if you are thinking that you can cleanse your own society of black legs. They are lying. They'll be there. So the important thing is being able to detect them and keep them aside or silence them in some way. But that will not be there. You are deceiving yourself. If you have 5 children, 3, 4, one of them will all be a liar. He will be a trickster. He will deceive his brothers and sisters. They are part of the human, the human
Actually, what I
race.
wanted to hear is from your point, from your vintage point of view, what can be done. Once you identify them, you sideline them, you put them on the side.
Yes,
And
because
you
how many of us still talk to Munzu? How many of us talk to Munzu? How many of us talk to Gwambala? They
yeah.
are there to do what they want, but they were part of this system. They were part of the
But when you see those who
consortium.
are genuinely ignorant and they are willing to change position, how do
We
you
educate
manage?
them.
You
We educate
educate.
them.
Thank you
That's why I
very much.
started with Akombi and saying he made a mistake here. If he
Yeah.
can take that mistake and correct himself, he might change his position. Don't just criticize him. Point out where he was wrong.
And
Don't
if
be
he is
angry with him or her.
then it would not be wrong for any Ambazonian to conclude that he is a black leg.
No, not everybody who says the wrong thing is a black leg. Some people say it out of ignorance. That's why I started with Akombi. I say he might
But
have
even
ignored
after
the
they are
fact
being
that
informed and then they don't change their position, will you blame those who think that they are black legs?
they call them black leg or opponents, whatever what is black leg has no meaning to me. It's just that he is not with us. He's doing his own way. He's all going his own way. Call him black leg. Call him sellout. Give any description you want. It depends upon the individual describing them. So the most important thing is to educate them. Again, I've asked a simple question. We have been in this thing for 5 years. Where is Agwambala? Where is Niba Fontem? Where is Munzu? We have identified them. They have refused to change. They have remained where they are. How many times can we in this IG go to consult any of them? No. Again, Akombi is just an ordinary guy. He's not an official of this IG. Because they are saying, if I make a statement here, they will say that's an official of the government saying it. Not anybody, not anyone who just says his own statement, rightly or wrongly. They don't bind us. We emphasize on our own message, that's all. And when somebody does something, I will try to educate and say, oh, you're wrong this way, you're wrong this way, you're wrong. They may change. They may say, no, I'm right. And then go to the Mafusi and all that. They are free to do that and walk away. We don't have a road to tie anybody remain here. But he's going away alone. How many followers does Munzu have after leaving the spokesman of the SCNC? How many followers that Gwambala, when he came to Canada last year, he was begging that, look, at least listen to me now. He was just begging to be listened to. That was the leader of the consortium.
Yeah.
So that's my
Um,
own. That's the way I
Ambazonian,
approach it. If I were not.
um, Amazonians, as we conclude, this is what I want to say. I know some Amazonians are frowning at me that why do I like to support Eyong Ekumbe? I don't think I have ever supported Eyong Ekumbe. That's a mission. Is that what you're thinking? Is that you want me to approach the situation your way? And since you are not me, you and I are different. We cannot approach the same thing a different way. Naturally, from when I was young, this is how I approach things. No matter how bad a person is, I always want to give them some benefit of doubt. But when you really betrayed me to a point, I can be harder than even you that you think you're harder now. You see, I don't want to speak for Ayon Ekumbe. I've not listened to all the 25 minutes. I'm just getting information now. If you notice, I'm reading to an information, and somebody's telling me that what he said is really bad. And I agree because this is somebody I listen to in this struggle, and it's somebody is an objective mind. When people like that talk to me, I listen to because they are not sometimes very negative or very extreme. So I'm taking this position. I feel that Ayon Ekumbe is man enough to listen to the reaction of Amazonians and to respond relatively, either to stand with his opinion and be alienated by Amazonians who feel offended by his words, or as a gentleman to refrain his steps and possibly, why not, apologize for a wrongful thinking and learn something new and then move forward. At the end of the day, it is better to have a repentant army, someone you know, than an army you don't even know. Because we need one another at the end of the day. Now, let me tell you something, the kind of relationship Chris Ano and I had. Listen, if Nelly was here, Nelly would tell you. Some of you don't know. When I was in Yaoundé, we were sharing emails and passwords. That I can tell you, that's how close we were. You get what I'm trying to tell you? We were really close. When I was leaving Yaoundé to Nigeria, he's one of those I was calling on the way and talking to. We had details. Just to tell you how close we were. There were times that he was wrong and I stood for him because I thought we were fighting, going the same lane. When I turned against him, he didn't believe it. You cannot. Wisdom says that patience is a virtue. I'm patient with some people, not because I'm naive. Do not mistake my patience for naivety. No, it's not. I don't think that you can be more aggressive than me when I want to handle black legs. So I agree with what my elders have spoken here this afternoon. But then I think that we should be very careful when we react. This is something I've learned from the president, and it works to some extent. You have a lot of, there's no doubt, like Pastor Tim says, you will always have, as I talk to you, you will have black legs. And there are many more. Perhaps you might be judging the wrong person now that is a black leg, whereas we have the real black legs in our groups and they're just silent, waiting for the right time to act. You have to prepare yourself. I'm ready to handle such situation. That's why I don't agitate too much when I see things like that. I'm not. Thank you very much for listening. We've had a wonderful day. And but Tim, perhaps you want to give some closing remarks before we call it a day.
Yes. Again, me in my person, I'm a different person. Sometimes ago, about 2 weeks ago or 3, I don't know Akumbe. He put out an audio, and I put out that I wanted his number. I was looking for his number. Somebody gave me his number, and I called him and talked to him. We talked privately. I said, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. That's my nature. So I don't fear those controversies. When I come out to say would let people do what they think, they are not officials. It is not because I did not follow it. No, I follow it always with the call. When I see that you are going the wrong way, I did. I called Akombi once. I've not met him, but I called him when he made his audio. I said, why did you say this? I tried to explain to him why he was wrong. I think so with me, he can testify to that. So That is not the issue. Again, to conclude, we are going to have people of diverse opinions. Call them blacklegs or anyone you want, anything you want to call it. They are different in their approach, they are different in their goal than the IG. But the IG is, to me, the most powerful body. If we change our position, it will be announced officially. I will know how official messages come out. Otherwise, we are here to stay. We have to fight the battle. Again, on other things, airport where there be a concentration camp, if there didn't be a concentration camp at the Bafut airport, they will build it somewhere in Santa. They will build it somewhere in Batibo. A concentration camp is bad. No matter wherever it is a concentration camp. It doesn't matter where it is. And so, if they didn't build the concentration camp, then nobody would even be flying there because they make it a target. Yes, it is already a target. I'm not in the defense, but I think why they put those things in those airports is that the airport have some facilities, radio facilities, they can try to preserve them. But again, a concentration camp to me, anywhere in the village, in the valley, in the top of the hill, it's a concentration camp. It should be condemned. It should be destroyed if possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we move ahead in this struggle, be sure to come in confrontation with people with different ideas who are not even enemies on the other side. Some will do it ignorantly, some will do it viciously, but they are all opponents or ignorant. Stay your course, keep to your message, educate people on what you are trying to do. That would progress faster than chasing the ghost or over the bushes. If federalists want to come in their own camp and make their federation, well, they have not even listened to them, whether they're talking federation or not. Again, I've said here right now, Yaoundé official has not yet changed its policy of form of state being not to be discussed by anybody. They're still there. Whether it is federation or regionalism, they don't want that thing to be taught. They want to tell you what they want their state to be. They want to give you some regions. That is them, not us. Can you prevent them? No. Again, I said that there are the Ngonos over there who are more critical of Yaoundé than us. But they are there. They are all francophones. They are all the Republic. So let us stay the course. I have said again, Paddy, if something comes out of your mouth, we know you are speaking the voice of the IG. If you come from Dr. Mongwa, we know that's the spokesperson of the government. If something comes from me, something may be my opinion. People will try to call me and say, well, the chair of the judicial council said this. It might even be my opinion. But these are not coming from any officials of the IG. So let them, in the name of freedom of speech, say what they want to say. We'll correct them. If they want to come back, fine. If they want to come back, so be it. Let President Anu, I'm sorry to call that, go and take his federation first, and then ask for an independent letter. Let President Anu go and release Sisiku before he goes to the conference table. That's all his own right. Deliver what you preach. We deliver what we're preaching. So that is the bottom line. I cannot spend my time here talking about Marianta or whatever thing to write on their social media. That's bullshit. When you were president, you didn't deliver. Now you are not a president, you want to deliver her. Mr. Anu is president. Deliver what you promised to deliver. Short and simple. You fought against Marianta for not raising money. Raise the money to challenge her. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Barrister Fru. We're going to continue this discussion on Monday in another dimension. There are some reports we'll be following up where we'll have to get details of what is happening in Bafut. As soon as we get details, we're going to bring you back to do some analysis. There are also reports coming in from Bui. We are aware that the Bui warriors attacked a camp today. We understand that the Unity warriors are bent. We're following the stories very closely. The Unity warriors are bent on arresting, looting, and killing our own people and our own fighters, which means that they have a mission, and their mission is to dismantle our self-defense apparatus. Thank you, sir, for being a part of this program. Ambazonians, we've had a great day. Before coming to this end, we started by discussing about Witty Minstrel, a Bouibon, a Southern Cameroonian born, who thinks that in a time like this, the best he can offer is to do some music and to console his own people. You've listened from the breath or the depth of his breath in the words, his rhymes and rhythms, his melody, his heart is poured out to his own people. Today he was here with us on an audio. Hopefully by next week, when he touches base, he will be coming to talk again to us. I'm very keen about it because we're fighting a war. It is a media war. It is a war on the ground. It is a war that we fight in different dimensions. This is a war we're fighting that at a time like this, we can express ourselves. Our generation is that generation that is expressing ourselves. We're telling our own stories our way, narrating our stories not from the colonizer's perspective, but it's a time when we were told that Bikusi was even much better than Njang. But Witty Minstrel and others are boldly telling the world, listen, there's something in Njang that you're yet to listen to. And in this wonderful song, he calls it Gracia. It's a classic, a melange of Njang and high life. And he says, Gracia. Gracia is just thanking God for everything. He's encouraging every Amazonian to watch it and to just thank God that we are alive to see this day. Thank God that we will see Boya and see Boya really very soon. I'll leave you with this beautiful song from Witty Minstrel, Gracia. Have a wonderful night.
Exclusives. Anumba. I love it. People go always throw stones on your path. My brother, no need to be sad. What it matter now, what you do with them? Build walls, on a bridge you want build. Eba, either build walls for protect your fine body, or build bridge, cross river, go re-enter that side. Also make money, come back where you carry back money. Them say misery, they find company. Hey, you got me so. Say poverty, they find place for sleep. Hey, we don't want poor. Say bullet, they find target. Nah, who want that? Ah, gracia. Barayong de grace. Avec celui qui dit gracia. De que façon que we resort.
We take another shot.
When you love for fair, who can be tavi? I sweet him love for fair, I'm can't kiss of it. Can you keep on bena? I love you. I've been quarantine, I love you. God, when you love for fair, who can you come? I give very tongue bena, Jim Yelena. I tell very tongue bena, Jim Yelena. I tell very tongue bena, Jim Yelena. You want very tongue bena, Jim Yelena. Kadam, my Jimmy Dondo. Some of them shy, young doggo. Yeah. Whoa, yo.
Come look to your bang, the one for them Kerabitavi. Then Saki Tomki Kumbankarim Yobutanin. Fukoni Yotango, Mongankavi. We Moron Chengumba, we Moguno Sotanin. They change under change that we run a bilami. So we of la Yotango, more than to Yova. Yembo Purinyo, Yamayova. Yembo Shushayo, Yakoyova. Yovano, the Yovonge. Yembo Wilkono, and Koyove. Yembo one Bonto, even Koyova. Yovano, the Yovonge. Yovano, boy of him Nawera. Lotum, the one for now. Oh, Shushayo, the one for now. Yembo Purinyo, the one for now. Yovano, the Yovonge.
Shawas a wadua, Tumtere Wakuma, Shusha Mayo, Venkoi, Mina, you wouldn't bajanga. They your funky fire, I your tanky fire. They the one gone so I your Yulambara. I'm over Ajishiman, I'm very good Karaman, soon and I'm going solid. I want your mamma shiman. Then Koti with your was and watchanga. Jiven Koti with your was and why you. When it's a Benya Kebenak, wait for now. Never want to pay me, won't so then look at your love with license Fola, won't so she will load for me loud license for
Ayanali, Ividamai, Jayanali, Ividamai. Whoa, my son, look at Takusika, do.
Once away, once away. Beluma lum get ben now your window. We go back up and oh, why you wait for day?
Show, man. Yamolan to your Shushay with ya. Putting your over the one so get a tap on Bamojim do like a cookie on the Tanto Fongo. You want me water bongo. Mzawi Lagunum yo. Yanga baby we know you be me la.
Now we be the boys from South. That's what I'm saying.